Good morning. This is Wednesday, September the 10th of 2025. And here in my old Kentucky home, look back here behind me at what a beautiful day we have. And it's about, let me see what time it is. It's about 9:30 in the morning. And Max and me, he's laying here at my feet. We thought we'd come out here on the porch because guess what? My husband didn't go riding today, or he didn't this morning. Maybe he can later today. And I just thought I better get a video made because you guys will be thinking, where in the world is Kentucky Life with Debbie? So here I am. I've got stuff spread all over this table here that I want to give you a little snip and snap about. And hope everybody's doing well this morning. Let me just say right here that we've got some prayer requests, and I want to just tell you about them right now. One of them is Billy Jean on Just Me, Billy Jean. Grandma Lois has mentioned him, and I heard somebody else mention him yesterday. And anyway, he put a little short video on yesterday, and he is in the hospital. And if you don't know him, he is a wonderful person that takes care of his 90-some-year-old mother. And now he's in the hospital. So let's pray for him. And Diane is going to have abdominal surgery on the 29th. And Ruth needs a heart catheterization. Let's remember all those plus all the ones we've already got on our list. And I've got some special requests. So let's just all remember those. And I know that they help. I know that our prayers help. I was looking this morning in my little upper room. You know how I like that little upper room. I don't want to read you a couple of things it said, which I really liked, if I can get a hold of the pages. This is a prayer. This was yesterday's reading, but I marked it because I wanted to read it to you. It said, "Listening God, thank you for hearing our personal problems. We cannot solve them alone and humbly look to you for guidance." Is that not true? And another thing it said, for today, we were talking the other day, my aunt who passed away a few years ago used to say that God was full of surprises. And it said, thought for the day is, every day God surprises me with blessings. So today, let's look for the blessings that we have. We have so many. And this one I thought was so great, and it's what I wanted to bring in on this one, is that this morning I was watching Emmy, the #1 ladies club, and she lives in England. And as we all do, of course, she's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and also Tracy, Life in the Wild West, and Lois Bayard Rice, and Senior Insights. They've all been on here longer than I have. But still, I have my ups and downs. For example, the other day when I went to bed, I had 1,357 subscribers. Now, again, if you're in this creating business, you can't help but watch the numbers. And some creators will say, oh, the numbers don't matter. And then, you just can't help from being obsessed with it. The next morning, I had lost 6. So I have 1,351, and I've had that for like 2 days. And that can kind of depress a feller, if you know what I mean. But I'm not going to, as Grandma Lois says, I'm not going to worry about it. But I just don't understand all this stuff. And it doesn't matter. Life will go on. But of course, we all want to grow our channels. And there's so much hype on YouTube every day, about people losing interest or people losing subscribers or views, how important they are, your thumbnails, all this stuff that's important. And I don't want to dwell on that. I want to just dwell on me talking to you, encouraging you, and us just having a little chit chat here outside while the weather's good. But it is a little depressing at times, and I'm using that. I shouldn't say depressing because Depression can be a very serious word. But for example, I watched Emmy this morning, and she has been really down about her views and even considering quitting YouTube. And a few days ago, she made a video, and I sent her a message and said, I'm not going to uh, quit watching you, and I think we all get in our slumps, I'm sure. And then Tracy from Life in the Wild West had sent her a most encouraging comment and helped her decide that she is going to continue. If you've not watched her, she's got a beautiful accent, she's a beautiful lady, and just very wise, and she's younger than I am. The number one ladies club is her channel if you want to watch that. Tracy of Life in the Wild West, she is the most encouraging person in the world and can send the sweetest comments that just makes you feel like you're queen for a day. So see, we all need each other, and I'm saying that to say this. This little prayer for today in my little upper room said, "Thank you, Lord, for opportunities to meet other people of faith and share in the joy of following Christ." And is that not what we're doing? We are sharing. We're meeting. Look at the opportunities that we're having to meet all these new people. And it's wonderful. It's fun. I just have so much fun thinking about the ones of you that are so faithful that stay here with me all the time, and then even new ones that come along is also fun. Just a little update on my girl at school. She's doing great, loving it. I'm so glad the weather has been good. It has rained one day of classes, and she had umbrellas, so no big deal, no storms or anything like that. So hopefully I will see her Friday afternoon and be talking to her later today. But everything's good with that. And I was going to tell you about using my air fryer again. And no, I am not cooking. So if you thought I was, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But I did have a little tip I want to pass along with you. The other night, about 6 o'clock, I said to my dear husband, I think I'd like to have a bacon and tomato. Now, why would I want that when I cannot even taste or smell? But I just wanted a bacon and tomato. So he said, so I got up from my chair, and my little air fryer is small. I don't know what size it is, but it's one of the smaller ones. It's probably a little, the inside of it is a little bigger than a slice of bread. So whatever size that is. Because, my girl was going to take this to school with her, and then they can't have anything like that plugs in, so I ended up with it. And I'm glad now because I've started using it more. I took some bacon and I usually slice the bacon right down the middle so that I've got like 2 sections of bacon. And I put 4 slices, little half slices in there, and hit air fryer 400 degrees and cooked it 4 or 5 minutes. And now it's not real crispy at that point, but you could leave it in there longer if you wanted to. And I think it was quite tasty. I don't know that, but I thought it was. And it was easy to eat. You might want to try that. If you don't have an air fryer and you don't like to cook, you might consider buying one. I'm thinking if I didn't make a cake every once in a while, that I could use the air fryer instead of the oven. I don't hardly ever heat the oven up. And like pizza, I'm telling you, warming up pizza, breadsticks, any kind of bread like that, it's the berries. It is the berries, so try it if you've not. Now let's see what I was going to tell you today. I've got a little, today I pray a prayer of thanksgiving for all of God's blessings. We've got so many blessings. I look at my age, at some of my dear friends, sickness that I have in my family. And at our age, it's just going to happen. So, we need to enjoy each day because we never know what a new day may bring. And that's not to be depressing. It's life. We're going to lose people we love. That is life. It's not easy. Something like that is never easy. Oh, man. I had a little of life's little instruction book. Do you see how I just jump from one thing to another? That's my ADHD. And now that I look back, I never thought I had ADHD. But as a teacher, I can remember that, like in an hour classroom, I didn't like just doing the same thing. I liked doing different things because I don't think anybody's attention span is extra long unless it's really, really something interesting. That's why I think sometimes preachers, they lose your interest and you can't focus on them because they've gone outside your attention span. That's just me. It may not be you, but that's why I'm jumping from one thing to another because I'm trying to keep your interest and mine. This little, there was 2 or 3 things right here I wanted to read you. One of them was show respect for teachers. You know what? My aunt, who has passed away several years ago, I can't even remember when, she would be over 100. She would be in her hundreds. She was a teacher, like in a one-room school. And I can remember people telling me years ago how strict she was. And I mean, I can see where she would have been. And she had a paddle, and she would just wear them kids out if they didn't mind. And I'm sure that there was a lot of those boys, one-room school probably wasn't very many kids. They would act up, that's not nothing new, that's always been around. But then, back in those days, after the teacher whipped you, and if your parents found out, you would get a whipping a lot of times when you got home. Now, what happened with that? Teachers used to be highly respected. That was one of the most respectful jobs. If somebody said, my daughter's a teacher, or my son's a teacher, that was something really to be proud of. But anymore, to me, it's not a respectful job because teachers are so disrespected, especially by kids and by a lot of the parents. And I don't know what happened to that. I know that down through the years that I've had a run-in or two with some parents that their kids were doing something wrong, but they blamed me. And then when they blamed me, then I didn't have the backing from like the principal that I should have had. Now that's been many, many moons ago, but it is one of the hardest jobs ever. And when your kid or your grandkid comes home and tells you something the teacher did, you might need to think, wonder what you did for the teacher to have said that to you, or, there's 2 sides to every story. Teachers, it's a hard, hard job. If you've not done it, you just cannot understand what they go through every day. There's no, like I think about elementary teachers, they're with those kids from the time they get there every morning until the last bus leaves or until that last kid leaves. And elementary teachers, they'll have, maybe the kids will go to PE class for 20 minutes. That's their planning time. That's the time they can go to the bathroom. At lunch, you got to take the kids into lunch. Some teachers stay in there with them. Some teachers run to the teacher's lounge and try to swallow a bite before they have to go pick them back up. there's hardly any breaks for elementary teachers. That is an exhausting day. And if you've not been there, you just can't realize the stress. But it's also very rewarding if you love teaching. And I did love teaching, and then I loved subbing in these younger classes for several years. But I wish we could get back to where the teachers were more respected by the kids. And then when the kids go home and tell their parents what the teacher did, the parents are mad at the teachers. And if you're around some of the parents, you can see why they act like they do. Enough of that. Hey, since I have been watching these, all this police stuff, two of my favorites is the Arkansas State Police and the Louisiana State Police. These people, okay, let me just give you an example. I mean, I get obsessed with these of a night, and I am so into them. And when they pull somebody over, I'll think, just look in their trunk. There's a bag of dope in there. These people will get stopped, and there'll be two people in the car, one driving, one riding. And the state policeman will get the driver out and start saying, oh, where are you going? Where you been? How'd you get there? And 99.9% of the time, the vehicles they're driving are rented. So right there is a red flag. If you're driving a rented vehicle, it's probably got dope in the back of it, so be careful. These people will say, oh, I'm from North Carolina, and I flew out to California and rented this car, and I'm driving it back to Tennessee to visit a cousin. And the state policeman, they'll say, oh, really, really? Well, that sounds fun, or, something like that. Then the policeman will go up to the car while he's got this one person back there at his car and talk to the other person and say, oh, where you all been? And then they'll give a completely different story. So that's the second red flag. And then when the state trooper ever says, gotcha, they'll say, oh, I flew from North Carolina to California. The state policeman will say, gotcha. When he says gotcha, that means he has got you. You're going to be sitting in the back of that police car before you know it. And then, they'll, can I search your car? No, I don't see any reason for that, Well, then they get the dog out, and the dog always alerts that there's dope in the car. Then they open the trunk, and here's these 10 big, huge trash bags full of dope. It goes on and on, but it's exciting every time it happens. And then you think, why are these people wasting their lives? I must really be desperate for something. I don't even want to read. I can't even read my library book for watching these police things. And I never would have wanted to have been a policeman. I've never got stopped, but if I did, I would be shaking in my boots. And these policemen will say, oh, what are you so nervous about? Well, they would think I had a boatload full of dope if they stopped me. I am trying to stop behind that white line at the stop signs, because, they do pull you over for that sometime. You talk about respecting. We need to respect our policemen, our state troopers, all those guys that put their life on the line every time they stop a vehicle. It is terrifying. So if you get really bored, look up that Arkansas State Police and the Louisiana. They are just, I've started watching them instead of the ones stealing at Walmart. So maybe the next time I go to Walmart, I won't be so paranoid about people watching me, afraid I didn't scan a certain item. Hey, I wanted to read you a little something from Pat's journal. I wonder if Pat knows I'm reading out of her journal. This was in January of 2016. Now, as a matter of fact, now that I've just said that, My dad passed away in April of 2016. He was 94. So this kind of starts making sense, I guess, a little bit more since I think about that. I said, we had a huge snow last Wednesday and still not back in school. My husband and his nephew went to Florida on Sunday to fish. In case you don't know, people, it never gets too bad to fish. And if you can't fish where you live, go to Florida. You can always fish down there. The driveway was so bad, they could not hardly get out. And in fact, that was the time that my husband, they were going out the driveway and the truck slid off the side of the driveway. It was so bad. And Buddy, they both panicked, my husband and my nephew. But let me tell you, they were desperate and determined, and they got that truck and that boat out, and they headed south. Because that is one of the most important things in the world. I wouldn't have wanted to live with him if he hadn't got to go on that trip. It would have been miserable for us here at home. All right, let's think about this. My girl that was in 16, she was 9, I think. Okay, my dad called me this morning, and he was confused about whether it was morning or night. He said he had gone to bed at 6 p.m. the night before, woke up at midnight, got up at 1, and ate breakfast at 4. Then, after dozing in his chair, he was confused if it was night or morning. Now, you know, I've taken a nap before and I woke up and didn't know what it was, so if that kind of relates to that. My girl and me got his mail today and took him a burger and fries. He loved a good burger and fries from McDonald's. I've been very content since all the snow we've had. Of course, we couldn't get out. My girl has played a lot by herself. We've played Pictionary, Scrabble, and Sorry. She always liked to play Sorry. I hated it. We've enjoyed watching the birds at the bird feeder. The dogs have loved us being home. Now, at that time, I think we had probably maybe 3 dogs in the house. Somebody the other day made a comment, they've got 5. And I've got this one. And I'd love to have another one, but I don't want to take care of it because I've got too much to do. I've got a lot to do, let me tell you. And cooking's not in it. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. You know, it wasn't long after that. Well, that was January the 27th. And in April is when my dad fell one morning and broke his hip. And he was gone about 24 hours later. He lived a good, long, pretty healthy life. Pretty healthy life. I've got a little funny here. I'm going to read you. You know, I've been finding some more funnies, and I think I've read that before, and I can't remember if I've read it to you before or not. So some of them I may read again, and if you do, just laugh, because if you're like me, I can't remember them anyway. I can't remember the punchline. But listen to this. A retired doctor became very bored in retirement and decided to open a medical clinic. He put up a sign outside that said, Dr. Geezer's Clinic. Get your treatment for $500. If not cured, get back $1,000. Dr. Young, who was positive that this old geezer didn't know beans about medicine, thought this would be a great opportunity to make some dollars, so he went to Dr. Geezer's clinic. Dr. Young said, Dr. Geezer, I have lost all taste in my mouth. Can you please help me? Dr. Geezer said, Nurse, please bring medicine from box 22 and put 3 drops in Dr. Young's mouth. Dr. Young said, Oh, that is gasoline. Dr. Geezer said, Congratulations, you've got your taste back. That'll be $500. Dr. Young gets annoyed and goes back after a couple of days figuring to recover his money. Dr. Young says, I've lost my memory. I cannot remember anything. Dr. Geezer says, Nurse, please bring medicine from box 22 and put 3 drops in the patient's mouth. Dr. Young says, Oh, no, you don't. That is gasoline. Dr. Geezer says, Congratulations, you've got your memory back. That'll be $500. Oh, my goodness. Dr. Young, after losing $1,000, leaves angrily and comes back after several more days. Dr. Young, my eyesight has become weak. I can hardly see anything. Dr. Geezer said, Well, I don't have any medicine for that, so here's your $1,000 back, giving him a $10 bill. Dr. Young said, But this is only $10. Dr. Geezer said, Congratulations, you've got your vision back. That will be $500. The moral of the story is just because you're young doesn't mean that you can outsmart an old geezer. Sorry about that. But I hope you and your husband get a laugh out of that. That is hilarious. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Do you know that Anne of Green Gables, we've only got like 6 more chapters? What is going to happen? She's growing up. I have enjoyed that book so much, and I think some of you have too. Not a whole lot of people, but the ones that have, it's been worth it, and I hope you can enjoy this next one just as well. I've got to get off of here. I don't know what I'm going to do, but if you look in that house, I think I need to run the Swiffer if I can get Max to help me. But hope you have a great day and be kind, and let's keep encouraging each other. We've seen proof right here what encouragement can do. Emmy is going to keep going with her channel because she's got some encouragement. They keep saying artificial intelligence is going to take over. I don't believe it. I don't believe that artificial intelligence will ever be as consoling and comforting and encouraging as me talking to you. What do you think? Well, it's Wednesday, and I hope to see you Friday, so have a great day, and I'll see you soon.